Morning, everyone. I'm calling the 275th meeting of the Equal Employment Practices Commission to order. The first order of business is for our Executive Director, Jean Victor, to the roll of call of commissioners, please.
Chair and Commissioner Aldrin Bonilla.
Present.
Vice Chair and Commissioner Elaine Reese.
Here.
Commissioner Manaska Akatara. Commissioner Nicole Yearwood.
Here.
And Commissioner Ngozi Okala.
Here.
Thank you. We have quorum. So the next order of business is the approval of the minutes of July 25th, 2024. Do we have a
I
motion
move to approve the minutes.
Commissioner Reese moves to approve the minutes. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second. Sorry, second is the motion to approve the minutes. Any discussion? I just want to say, as far as minutes go, I mean, I think these minutes strike an excellent balance between the substance of the meeting, communicating decisions made. I think it's based on various other boards of mine. I kind of appreciate the elegance of the minutes, how comprehensive they are, but at the same time, it's like that balance of being just, I think what you call it, like a verbatim transcription of what occurred. If no further comments or discussions, approval of the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions? Hearing none, the motion passes. Next, we have the approval of the audit resolutions. Well, there's none under this agenda item with 2024 final determination resolutions. None for the 2024 compliance resolutions. And for the 2024 final determinations and compliance resolution, we have one resolution. Do we turn to Menelik to read it into the record?
Yeah, so it's resolution number 2024 AP/275-826-2024 C16 Department of Environmental Protection.
Let the record show we've been joined by Commissioner Alcantara. We just started. That's one. Not that far into this. We're on approval of section 3, letter C, the final determination of the Department of Environmental Protection. All in favor, say aye. I mean, yeah, no, do we have a motion to approve this? We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Alcantara. Do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Okaru. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions? Hearing none, the motion passes. In terms of old business, section 4, the status of the EEPC personnel, already returned to Executive Director Jean Victor.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to give you a status update on where we are with the EPC personnel in terms of hiring. We posted for 2 positions for the research unit. There are 2 sitting research scientist positions. As of yesterday, I believe there were 75 resumes for the posting so far.
I'm sorry, what was the number?
70.
75, that's a high number.
Yeah.
75 resumes for the 2 research scientist positions.
Were you able to insert my line that I wanted, or was that?
No, we were looking at the posting and we kind of felt that it encompasses what you're looking for.
Okay.
So we're gonna look at the resumes and see if it does, and then be guided accordingly from there.
What was
My
the
concern was to some, we're still looking for someone with some knowledge of the labor, of labor and an analysis of the labor market. And it was, the words were missing from the posting. But you obviously will look for it.
Well, 75 resumes, hopefully there's some folks. But, so that's for the 2 research scientists, we have 75 resumes.
Correct.
There are also 2 EEO analyst positions, right?
Right. No, so that was the other thing. So we had talked about at the last meeting, using that last restored pay position for an EEO program analyst. But with the resignation of the part-time executive agency counsel, we felt that perhaps it would be best if we just post it as a full-time executive agency counsel, so we can get someone in. And then we can ask, see if there might be some room for OMB to approve us for another EEO program analyst.
Wait, but I thought with the budget that was restored and the slight increase, that was earmarked for 2 EOM additionally.
It did not say, it did not specify.
I thought that was the role of the commission.
I'm sorry, I don't recall, but I can definitely look that up. So the question I guess we have for you, because we have not posted that position as yet, is this, we have an opportunity to get a full-time executive agency counsel? Is that something that you
Yeah,
would want?
we could take that up in executive session in terms of the specific proceeding that, but so currently the only thing that what are the public positions that the EPC is hiring for? What is
Right
currently?
now, the only thing that is posted are the 2 the 2 city research scientists.
Okay.
That's
That's
it.
the only thing public.
That's the only thing.
City research scientist.
Yeah.
Okay.
For that, you've got 75 residents
Yes.
and require someone doing the analysis and figuring out how many people. Is your sense that you're going to interview how many? 5?
For 2 positions, at least 5, I would consider maybe 6.
Okay,
Usually, in the past, when I've been on hiring committees, usually do about 3 per opening.
okay.
And is there a timeline on sorting through the resumes and inviting people for interviews, and having the actual interview?
There, so it's a process. There's no required timeline, but there is a need to move as quickly as we can. So that's how we're approaching it. We want to try to fill up as quickly as possible.
Can I ask a more particular question? Who's going to scan through the 75 resumes and make the determination?
Probably going to be me. I might delegate that to my staff. Even if I do, they don't have experience with that, so I'll have to supervise them.
Okay, well, you could ask them to do an initial call
Yeah.
and then cull from what
That's-
they've done,
Probably something like
which makes sense because it'll take a lot of time.
Yeah.
And one other stupid question, before you call people in, is someone going to verify addresses?
that.
I was actually gonna ask, does HR do an initial filtering of the resumes before they go to the hiring manager? Because I think that would
They
be something
have.
that HR would do.
They have, but since Russell knows exactly what he's looking for, I would be inclined to just let Russell do it.
The baseline requirements for this are actually not super strict. So on a technical level, I'm confident that almost everybody that has submitted one is going to technically be eligible in terms of meeting it. So then it just becomes a more subjective, how do you rank them?
I understand. My only concern is that to the extent that they have to be New York City residents.
Oh, I
I have
have,
to make sure that someone gets that in fact, these people are actually residents.
I have a personal experience with that, having applied to a job in New Jersey that did not make clear that I had to be a New Jersey resident when they offered, until they offered me the position. I will be very sensitive. Now, as far as I know, we don't have a formal, like, we don't do a background check or anything like that. But in terms of letting them know you have to be a New York resident.
Well, you probably should make sure before you bother interviewing anybody,
Yeah.
that's something verbally that's disclosed.
Well,
I'm just, only because you're right, if you don't make it very clear,
Yeah.
you may find yourself going through the entire
Yep.
process and thinking this person would be spectacular and
No.
discovering they live in Jersey City.
but it is in the posting.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it is specified in the posting.
It is on the posting.
That's usually in
I hate to
the
tell you
No, but
how many people don't read the posting.
in my experience, it was also with the posting, it was number 8 out of 12. Like, when I applied for it and I didn't see it. So, no, I will be very careful about this
Okay.
based on personal experience. Yes.
But now also people don't share I get a lot of resumes that is on the email. People assume that it's gonna be remote. And you're like, you're where? Oklahoma City? No.
We
I
address that
understand.
as well. We have addressed that.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot.
But also what happens now is people write their own algorithms on their computer to just automatically submit resumes that come from LinkedIn or Indeed. So I'm sure we're gonna get some from out of state. Not out of my mind.
I don't know the first thing.
Okay. All right,
And in terms of research, the data scientists there, from what I understand, we're looking for a more advanced one, right? Level 3.
No, we decided on level 2, so this is a medium level of experience. I don't recall the exact requirements offhand, but it's a master's degree plus a certain number of years of experience, or a bachelor's plus a certain number of years of experience. PhDs would be great, but at this level.
What is level 3?
It's just each level up has a certain number of years of experience and a different pay grade. It goes up to a 4. I'm a 4.
Would it be possible to get a 3 and a 2?
I don't know what the budget, that would be a question for Jean. I don't know what the budget calls for.
It's possible. I think so.
I preferred 2 2s. I like to have people come in and give them a chance to grow, but I'm not opposed to 3.
well, you'll see what's in the 75.
Yeah,
You'll see whether or not you even have 2 that are employable with you
right.
to within the 75.
Right.
The gross number sounds wonderful, but the specific number is gonna be hard.
Based on my experience, because this has been my career path, it's not a bad starting salary for somebody with this level of experience and education. So I think we'll get
You think you
good
have
apple.
to,
I think we'll get good. It ranges from roughly in the low 80s up to as high as 105.
it's a good salary.
All right. Any other issues on the EPC personnel status?
Yeah.
All right, next we go to section B under Title 4, the status of the EPC budget.
So we had a request from City Council asking what our new needs would be. So I put together a letter, it's in your packet. It's a request for some additional new needs. Essentially 2 EEO program analysts, 1 communications director, one computer specialist training, and 1 human resources justice training.
Next, we have a letter from the Board of Commissioners to non-voting.
It's also in your packet. I had asked at the last meeting for a letter to thank him on the service.
I think you might want us to sign it, because it looks like that when you cut it off, the S and the R in my name at least are cut off at the very top.
Yeah,
So you'd like the press plan, and you lost some letters too.
I know it is.
But this one out, right?
No, it did not.
Oh, has it? Okay.
No, because we haven't signed it. It's dated the 5th of September.
Oh, I have one that has signature.
Yes, but
Yes, it's just proposed signatures because
Chair, can I ask a question regarding this letter? Is
Which one? The money one?
the Natasha Williamson?
Okay.
Right, they asked us, do you need, additional, money or budget? And we go into this lengthy explanation of you have this, you lost that, we whatever. Is that customary, or can you just say, these are our needs, and take this paragraph out?
I don't know if it's customary. Is the concern here that we've overstated something or?
No, my concern is that when people that get these letters don't read them.
Got
And when you read, and there's a lot of explaining, and then you start creating value judgment into what they have 15, and now it's 12, and then it's 17. They start creating these ideas in their minds. Is it them that don't know? Is it us? But if I just go and say, oh, you asked me this, these are these, thank you so much.
Right, so like basically starting out, answering the question that was asked.
Yes, that's what it means.
And just kind of thinking about like a lawyer, but like that's the first thing you answer the question that's asked, and then you can go into more.
Details, like I would either invert it, or if you ask me, the second paragraph, I think that this is going to a person that doesn't know us. So explaining all that history, it's is it necessary, is the question. But I don't know state government, I mean,
Yeah.
city governments, I don't know, if it's not, I'll take it out and respond.
Yeah, no,
What I
yeah,
mean.
So it could be helpful.
Yeah,
if it hasn't been sent yet, then, I mean.
Actually, they wanted it last week, so I had to get it.
Oh, sorry, okay, so.
Oh, you did go?
Okay,
Okay.
all right. But just in general, I kind of, like the idea that, answering the direct question head on and then assuming that folks will read the last one page.
I really think all you're talking about is the replacement of the paragraph, so the hence paragraph should be number 2, and the thanks to your effort should be number 3. It's really not removing anything, it's just, reorganizing.
but I wouldn't explain of like,
Well, I think you have to, because we already got the money to do the head count, and we're not doing that, we're really reallocating it and trying to come back in to ask for more to do what we have essentially got funding for. So I think she has to explain what she's done, but as to your point, I would just change it. You could recall the letter. When did it go?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have called it.
no,
Yeah, it's substantive, that's but, and then, next order of business is new business controller's office audit.
Yes, EEPC is being audited. I've attached a copy of the letter in your packet, or I should say Russell has. And, this is, deemed a follow-up audit on the Equal Employment Practices Commission's compliance with its prior mandate for other audits and agencies.
Right.
It's just, the beginning of the audit. This is the initial letter that's been sent out. We scheduled a meeting for sometime in the following week.
Could you help me, Gene, when was the last audit?
I believe it was before I came here. It was, I think, in 2020.
And I believe it was contentious. We should go back and look, but
Yes.
clearly the EEPC and the controller did not agree on the findings of that audit and did not agree on the way that they were determining we were meeting on mandate. So we
Right.
probably should go back and look at it and see whether or not you're where you are in terms of their analysis of what our mandate is and what our duties are, before you start this, so you have some knowledge of where they're coming.
No, I am aware of that, and we have been following their definition of when an audit concludes since that time. So there should be no issue going forward. That issue was resolved.
so that was the one on the issue.
That was the main issue.
Well, that issue led to their determination that in one of the years we had not fulfilled our mandate. So, which is the reason I keep asking you numbers. What are the numbers? And we know that we have a lag in our own meeting our mandate during COVID. So, as you start out, you might want to almost use a preface. As you recall, this was the COVID year, and we were working remotely, as was everybody else. I mean, I know it's an excuse, but we might as well use the excuse up front.
But we made our numbers, Monday.
We did not make our numbers for the year that we had COVID,
Oh, the year we had COVID, but I'm saying.
but that's one of the years they're auditing.
Yeah, no, I understand. So the audit is, 2017 to 2021, and then 2022 to 2025, right?
2017 through 2021.
Right, and then they have 4 other points where they mentioned
2020,
to
yes.
2025.
What is their definition of completing versus our definition of completing, if I know the term?
So our definition of completion was after the compliance monitoring period, correct? So it was, what we do is we open up an audit with an agency. There is a preliminary determination that we make, then there's a final determination that we make. And then there's the compliance monitoring period. So if they have corrective actions, we monitor them during, at that time, it was 6 months. For them to get those corrective actions resolved. The controller's office looked at it a little differently. We were saying that, okay, so when the compliance monitoring period ended, sometimes we're in the following year. Because that compliance monitoring period was 6 months by itself. So if we went into the following year and then we said, okay, well, 4 months from here, 4 years from here, they're due for the next audit. But the controller's office said, no, they're due for the next audit 4 years after the final determination.
Thank you.
Any other questions? How will the commission stay apprised to how the audit is going and what's being submitted? Will we be including copies on it?
Sure.
Alright. Next order of business is the list of hot topics for the next audit cycle.
So that was included in your packet, and the fall I sent us you as a separate email. These are just some of the hot topics that
The
we have
last
given.
page of it, and that's what we've given. The very last page, the ultimate page.
Any initial thoughts from the commissioners
I like 10.
or addition, like preferences or also adding additional?
Do we know that everybody does exit reviews?
They do not. It's
It's
mandated now.
mandated now. There's a local law passed. Hasn't
When
come
was
into
the local law effective?
I think 2020.
I like 5 months.
I believe it starts in 2025.
Yes.
Then we can't audit it next year.
Is it the 2025 fiscal year or 2025 calendar year?
I think it's a calendar year.
And next year is the last year of this current audit,
Yes.
so the new audit cycle won't start until 2026.
But you wouldn't have anything but an annual exit review. You wouldn't have, if you were auditing that year, you'd be auditing back several years. So if you start an audit, you're going back 4 years. It wasn't mandated. So I think that comes off. It is something we should look at, but it's premature to do it now. Is everybody in agreement with me? All right. If you were looking at the thing that is the highest thing on everybody's mind, I believe it's money. And I'm told that with the current election cycle, that it's an economy stupid. So if that's true, then it should be a combination of 4 or 5. I think 4 and 5 should be combined.
I was gonna say, well, yes. I like 5 because what I see happens is that until women are seated at the table, people of color are seated at the table. When promotions happen, they're excluded from the promotion.
Wait,
So if we look into, job titles and you see at the top, who's sitting at the table making these decisions to hire these people, that will give you an indication as to what are the barriers. And I like 10 as well. But I also agree that 4 and 5 could be combined.
I think 4 and 5 should be combined because I'm gonna use the fire department as an example. We know that they have many more women in their fire department than they ever have. They do not have many more fire persons,
What do you mean player person?
firemen, but we don't, I'm calling them fire persons.
Okay.
Whatever the title is. So we know that they have them, but the women have been hired, and they are in job titles that earn less salary. So we have to, in some way, I think, combine 4 and 5, because job titles often discriminate as to salary, but you can't look at one without the other.
I think 1, 4, 5, 10, and 11 all fall under the rubric of occupational segregation and pay disparities.
1, 4,
1, 4, 5, and then 11 more pronouncedly
Right.
fall under occupational segregation and pay disparities. So I think if we continue doubling down on our research in that area is where we should really continue to
I agree.
make progress on.
Can you put together a questionnaire that will, I'm not gonna use your term deep dive, but to delve deeply into the issue of pay disparity among women?
I can put one together as a researcher. I don't know if I could do one that would be good as an audit. But,
Excuse me.
Well, it's just,
Can it be translated into an audit?
and this is beginning the conversation, I will begin the conversation. Okay,
Excuse me.
yes,
Yes,
Commissioner
Nicole.
Yeagle?
My apologies for this since I've been a little under the weather. I just happened to take a quick peek at the letter to Natasha. I know we already passed it on the agenda, but it doesn't have a number in it. Like I see that it has head count requests. Is there a reason that it doesn't also kind of have like an amount that's attached to those head count requests?
Dollar figure.
No, I understand the question. No, there's not a reason. It wasn't like, no, there's no reason. Just,
So how is the council member supposed to figure out the number? Like for council members with things like this, you got to give them the number and explain it. So I get the explanation, which is clear, but if I'm just looking quickly and saying, how much does the organization need? That's not in here. I mean, the breakdown is there and this is fine, but a round number should have been included that was like an estimate of the cost of those that head count. So if it's 3 staff people, I don't know if it's 300,000 or whatever, or 275, but that round number should have been included.
Which
In that
makes, following up on Nicole's comment, which seems there ought to be a restated letter. And in restating that you can convert the paragraphs.
Right.
So the third paragraph now would include the number as well as what you're looking for. Right, Nicole?
Yes, thank you.
You got that? Thank you, Commissioner Yeagle. Continue conversation on the potential EPC next audit topics.
Aldrin, I agree with putting it all together. Okay, so later.
So if we're gonna explore those buckets of occupational segregation and pay disparities, and seeing the main themes and then seeing what kind of questions we'll get at that.
I heard 1, 4, and 5, but I heard a lot of, oh, and 11.
5, and 11.
And 11.
Okay, that's what I want to make sure.
Yeah, with
Because
11.
otherwise it was just one. Okay,
No, it's
okay.
11 as well. Could we, as we begin the audit, figure out, excuse the expression, in quotes, a sexy title for it, so everyone is aware of what we politically are looking at? And that we announce that this is the audit we're going forward with, because what we want to do is to, at the end of the day, issue a report as to how effective the city is in fighting segregational discrimination in so that when you come forward, there's an actual announcement and all the agencies know that's what we're looking at.
we can definitely come up with a better title.
Okay. I have you laughing.
I tend to try to make very blunt titles for research reports, but then I'm never going to be diplomatic about it.
You're being a researcher and I'm being a marketer. I'm telling you.
Any other comments? on this agenda item. Next, we have agenda item 6, the audit update, 2024 audit plan status update. That would be minute.
Yeah, this spreadsheet.
It's right before the one now.
So just only a few, I guess, notes or points. So one, with FDNY having the commission, so that was just one thing that did. As far as the FDN compliance resolution that you all voted on, that one is reflected by the blue note for DEP. That was the agency that had their compliance resolution and FD resolution. As far as just in general, the preliminary determinations, we had a few go out since the last meeting, and we have several more that are more or less being finalized, with summer vacation and some other things that slowed it a little bit, but next meeting there should be more for you all.
I'm gonna ask my silly question. What's your total number for the year at this
The
point?
compliance resolutions are at 16 right now.
You have 16,
Yeah, 16.
so are you gonna make 36?
I think we'll still make 30, but 35, 30 something.
Okay, I mean, that is our magic
Yeah.
number, which we need
Yeah.
to complete in order to complete the four, all of them.
This is.
I have another silly question, which is what difference does it make that there's a new fire commissioner?
It's not that it makes a difference, it's just because we just have the note section just to highlight anything that comes up with certain agencies.
I mean, is for a period of time when when a commissioner was in place, and besides which it happened several different levels below the commissioner.
Yeah, it's just more of a just general.
Okay.
Same thing with KCBA. We at prior meetings talked about agencies that don't have a designated EEO officer at the time. So they did also reiterate to us that they do not currently have a designated EEO officer. So that was highlighted.
Two questions. These are 32. So that's the least for the year.
Yes.
Okay, and then my other question is, when a final determination is sent with a corrective action, and then you get a response, and we still have, is it the same corrective action, or is it a different thing, or is it that they disagree with what we?
So in most instances, it's the same, but sometimes they have since implemented some, so it may go down. So it may start with 2 and go.
But when they reply, and you still keep it as a corrective?
Yeah.
Is it a disagreement, or is it simply that they didn't address it?
So it's a mixture. Sometimes that is pretty rare, but sometimes, well, I don't want to say rare, but as far as an extreme disagreement, that's more so rare. But it's either a disagreement or they just need additional time to kind of get it done. So they will be officially in a compliance monitoring period at that point. So after we receive the final determination and they still have corrective action, then they're just in a monitoring period to take as much time with them.
Perfect, thank
You know,
Hearing none, we'll go to the section 7, research update, status of the LL13 reports.
Not much. We should have our first draft done probably in about 1 or 2 weeks, and then it begins the review process. It would be a little bit sooner, except the data that we used, DCAS had an error, so sent out the wrong data at the beginning of July, so we have to redo a bunch of stuff. So we're working on that now, and it'll push us back probably by about a week. So it's not the end of the world, but it's a bit of a nuisance.
Maybe asking this
Yeah.
question. How current is DCAS's data?
Well, I mean, the employment data is updated, so we know what the personnel are. There's been no changes to the availability estimates. Right?
So it's 10 years old.
Well, now, maybe 11 now, yeah, or 12. I'm losing track.
Is there, and their availability data is based on the market, the New York market and the census, or is it just their availability data based on the city?
They base it, so each job group has a different formula. The civil service lists for most of the job groups are what's weighted most heavily. So people that took and passed the civil service exam from 11 years ago. And some use a combination where they'll also take the American Community Survey from the census. Some job groups will slightly weight the current, like if there's a lot of promotional jobs in that job group, they'll weigh the existing labor force in the city and weight that a few percentage points. But yeah, but they're still, they have not been updated.
So
There are a few reasons. One of them is that it's in a legacy system that nobody knows how to revise the code for. It's in a programming language that's becoming increasingly obsolete and that they don't have staff that really know how to. That's one of the reasons. There's probably numerous others that I don't know.
do we put in the front in the preface to our report the fact that what we're working with is data that is at, well, I wouldn't use the term. I wouldn't use it. That is as dated as it is.
It's in the report, and for the last 2 years, one of the major recommendations has been updated. And in the previous report, we probably spent a page and a half talking about ways in which, why that should be done and ways in which it could be done.
If there's some way that we can be more public about it, I think we'll use capital letters in the sentence so we know it's read. I mean, I hate
They know that the availability data
it's
is
not, I know they know,
but
but the rest of the world doesn't know. And to the extent that someone may be actually reading this document, i.e. the city council who's mandated that we do it, or someone in the, excuse the expression, the press that follows this, and to the extent that our report is dealing with underrepresentation, you would think that there would be some interest outside of us about it. And I'm just trying to make sure that it's understood by others who might be able to push a button and have some change happen.
Well, they supposedly had some sort of consultant coming on board to update the numbers. I don't know where they are with that. They did invite Russell to be on the team with that.
We had a call with them probably approaching 4 or 5 months ago. I don't want to speculate. My guess is because they've had a lot of turnover there recently that maybe things are either they're moving and they haven't communicated with us, or they're not moving because of the turnover. I don't know, but the communication in the last couple of months, plus it being summer. So we don't know where things are, but they have begun the process. How long it will take and exactly how it will come out should be seen. But in the one conversation we did have, they asked a lot of questions. They were basically treating us like clients in terms of what would you like the new system to look like? How would you like it to, be user friendly? How would you like it organized? So definitely, I had indications from that conversation that they're trying to do it the right way and to listen to people. And so that was encouraging.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just, this is historic. This is not new that we are dealing with dated data. But it means we do not fulfill the requirement that's been placed on us, because
Right.
what we tell the world is really fallacious.
So our data scientist, William Peterson, who will come here when we do the presentation on the pilot program, has been working on what they would look like if they were updated. That was put aside because the pilot program we made a choice that we would work on the pilot program as opposed to that. And right now we don't have the resources to do both properly. If they're still not updated by next year, I think we will have a report out that shows what they would look like if they hadn't updated. We do something probably next year.
Okay.
This reminds me in terms of when you're doing the vetting for candidates for the data scientists, if you could look to folks who have some experience as well with AI, because the new availability data is, AI open, you can do it in less than 10 minutes for you. there's no reason why we should be waiting or anything. I mean, AI right now has just transformed. So what takes a year, you could do it in maybe 25 minutes, but it can really tell you what the availability in the tri-state area is for next month. And then you can also be more creative. And not be, there's no reason to believe firefighters should solely be women. I mean, should solely be men. You open up and say if someone's a woman, perhaps they might be able to be a firefighter. If they have a high school degree or a college degree, if they're able to, live within a certain, it can crank out numbers. You can even say comparable skill sets. Maybe people who are EMS, like even home health aides, or women, maybe home health aides who carry heavy patients and who do this, that, and the third, and maybe have 30%, 50, 80% probability of being successful as a firefighter. But there's a variety of different ways that AI can just do what the core competencies are and what the core figures are.
Can we use any data or do we have to use weakest data?
Well, I mean, the last report showed that, the census actually throws out labor market LMA with availability, labor market availability. So, I mean, the DPAS ones in theory are the ones that we've used in the past, but no, I mean,
I think this has to do with civil service titles. It really has to do with the job title situation. And you're looking at the skill set within the job titles. But you probably could do some variability. I don't know that I don't know that everything fits. Right. Criteria.
Regarding AI, I do not know what the rules are. The city has regulations and restrictions on using it for employees. I don't know the details.
Yeah, we should. Yeah,
of
we should.
what they are, but we'd have to be careful with that. The thing about that kind of thing too is that type of project is one of those where the front end labor is actually as intensive or even more intensive than if we were doing it. And then once you're trying to repeat it and update it every couple of years, then it becomes closer to what you're talking about, where it's like you just run it and rerun and all that. So for upfront work, it would still be comparable to what we do now, and then you could update it and revise and refine it and closer to the time.
Yeah, no, we would. That's why someone would have to have skill sets in it, but it would be the equivalent of training machine learning or AI bot. It would be equivalent of having an EEPC bot. You put all of the EEPCs past work and say this is all of our past work, and it would be a future example. And just training it on what EEPC does, what it's produced. Just a thought. But you're right, the city, not sure if they officially have any guidelines or policies around AI yet, but I'm sure they don't. They're at the precipice of probably having one.
There are some. I don't know the details of what they are, but they do. And I don't know if they're best practices or if they're official restrictions, but there are some rules.
Any other questions on the status of the local law 13 reports?
I move to adjourn.
Yeah, we have a motion to adjourn by Commissioner Reed. We have a second by Commissioner Alcantara. All in favor to adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions? By hearing none, the motion passes. We will now adjourn from public session for the purposes of going to executive session for
We need
presentation
someone to do that for us.
and proposed vision of the EPC. So we can stop streaming now.
So what, he's just hearing you. He's got a